Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good whatever time of the day you are listening to this, guys, and welcome to another episode of the V030 Times with Daniel podcast. And I am, actually elated that you guys are here listening to this right now. It's been an interesting year so far. 2011 just started a couple of days ago, and it's been an interesting year so far. With what's currently happening in some places in Nigeria, what's currently happening in the US, just a lot of things all around. It's been an interesting year so far. How are your New Year resolutions going? How have you been meeting your goals? Actually, I also set New Year resolutions this year, although I didn't share them with you guys. Probably my fault. Definitely my fault, actually. But and I'm missing out on some goals. Yeah, I noticed that I'm missing out on some goals, but my resolution was to break things down, create a much more simpler environment. So I'm finding it hard to do that since I'm always the type of person that clutters up my mind. But how are you guys doing? I hope you guys are not failing. If you're having problems meeting your goals or your New Year resolutions, calm down. It's still early into the year to start evaluating yourself on how successful you've been with your goals. But if you're having trouble, you're really having trouble, there's something I want to recommend to every single one of you, and that is a video by Oladimeji Ajegbile. He is the podcast host of the Simple Creative podcast, and it's one of his recent videos on his YouTube channel. The title is "I Stopped Setting Resolutions. Here's Why." And in the video, he kind of creates a balanced contrast between how to look at goals and all that kind of thing. So yeah, give it a listen, give it a watch, and I hope it's helpful. So then, now let's get into today's episode. So, over the past couple of weeks, I have been thinking about a particular topic, a stream of topics, actually, a stream of ideas and everything. And I decided to, maybe it's time for me to sit down and talk to you guys about this. So this will be the, I think, fourth entry into the self-development series that we started on the show since last year. And after this episode, in the next 2 weeks, is going to be ending with the 5th episode, and then maybe a bonus episode after. But on today's episode, I want to talk about dealing with inadequacy, dealing with feeling less. I'm not even sure what I'm going to title it as, but many of us on our journey of improving ourselves, creating a better version of ourselves, as impossible as that is, we always, we become much more, how should I put it, the way our society is structured, and because we usually model ourselves after the Western ideology of self-development, which, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just go down and listen to an episode titled "The Ideologies That Promote Self-Development." The Western ideology, is much more materialistic in its evaluation, you understand? Quite objective, yes, but materialistic. And it makes you very, very aware of what you don't have, how inadequate things are, and all that kind of stuff. And it gets pretty tough to deal with, you understand? It gets pretty tough to deal with. And it's one of the motivations why many people want to improve themselves, work on themselves to be better and all that kind of stuff. So, but how do you deal with it still? There are times, there are days where it can be really crushing to have these feelings inside you, right? And you don't know how to deal with it. And it can be, oh God, just thinking about it is giving me, it's making me angry in a way, because whenever I remember times where how inadequate or ineffective I have been or I am, anytime I'm really made aware of it, it sends me into this spiral of depression that kind of gets hard to get out of. But now I'm not here to say 5 steps to dealing with inadequacy. I'm here to suggest something and make a seriously bold claim. It's just one thing. I think there's only one thing that can be the best thing to dealing with being adequate and accepting it, and still growing despite of it, and that is to be ordinary. Now hear me out, calm down, hear me out. I know you're probably wondering, to be ordinary, what do you mean? Well, One of the most dangerous ideas in the world right now, I think, is the idea of greatness. The idea that you can be anything, you can be anyone, you can do anything and achieve anything. It's an awesome idea. Somebody said it's an American idea. Yes, I believe so too. And it's also an awesome idea, but it's also a very, very dangerous and damaging one. Here's the reason why. This ideology makes everybody grow up thinking we are all special, thinking we are all unique, thinking we are all blessed in this heavy cosmical way. So because of all this, there is a demand on us to do big things. There's a demand on us to leave marks every single way we go, to be noticed, to do something great, do something shocking, do something lasting. We keep being asked the question, when you die, what do you want to be remembered for? How do you want to be remembered? Do you want to be remembered at all? And it's every single part of our lives kind of cements the ideology of you should do great things. You should do big things. You should do massively awesome things because you're unique, you're great, you're talented, you're special. And I'm not refuting the fact that we all have our talents, we all have our levels of expertise and all that kind of stuff. But it's too much of a burden to place on people, because here's the truth and here's the fact. The majority of us are losers. The majority of us are ordinary. We are not special in ways that we think we are supposed to be. We are not this awesome people. We are not this magically created, elevated form of beings that will constantly produce mind-blowing stuff. I mean, it just seems like an impossible sense of creation. I don't even think it's a Christian idea. I don't think it's a Christian idea that everybody has this great potential and ability in them, and so everybody, I just don't think I don't even think it's a Christian idea that everybody is expected to be great. Like, how should I put it? Yeah, I don't think it's a Christian idea that greatness is expected of everyone. When you read through the Bible, you see God focusing on some particular people a lot, right? And from that focus on those particular people, nations have benefited. Generations of people have benefited. We see Abraham, we see Moses, we see David, we see Solomon, we see Paul. Generations have benefited from God's focus on one person. You understand? Like, the greatness that is expected of one person benefited a large stream of people, right? But here's the thing, and this is where a lot of us might not realize. Here's the thing: those people were not born great. They weren't. Most of them were quite ordinary people, and we don't hear anything that spectacular about Abraham. We don't hear anything that spectacular about Solomon's birth or something. Sure, David was exceptional as a kid, yeah, but the truth of the matter is most of us are not born with great abilities. Most of us are born ordinarily. We are born to ordinary fathers, ordinary mothers, ordinary families in ordinary neighborhoods, and go to ordinary schools and do ordinary things. But yet, for ordinary people like us, we are expected to always constantly do great things. I was speaking to a friend of mine a couple of days ago, and I told him that I'm not living my life to be remembered. And he was confused by it because, who doesn't want to be remembered when they die? Who doesn't want to, have their mark on the world, and then when you die, and then in 100 years, people will still be like, yes, there was a man called Daniel Adisa who lived and did this. And even though he's dead, we still feel his impact. Don't get me wrong. I live my life helping people. I want to help people a lot. I want to do things that have a good lasting effect for people, right? But I'm not doing those things to be remembered. I'm simply doing those things because that is what I desire to do. That is what I'm called to do, we can say. And I don't see it as a great purpose. I see it as a normal, ordinary thing. It's something that is expected of every one of us. Decency, helping your fellow person, loving your neighbor, all that kind of stuff. Quite normal and ordinary things. So I've been going through a process of debunking the idea of greatness. So, and I've gotten to a point where this is how I think of myself. I am an ordinary person, in and out. I have the Spirit of God living in me and all that, yes, but that doesn't change the fact that I am an ordinary person, because even having the Spirit of God within me is not something unique to me. It's a normal thing. In fact, to believers, it's an ordinary thing. It's normal. The Spirit of God is great, powerful, but it's normal for believers to have Him. So I do not think of myself exceptional. God is the one that is exceptional. So I am this ordinary guy. I don't expect my life to turn out to be one of the greatest lives ever. I don't expect my life to have this massively great feats. But I am going to do great things occasionally. And that's what we need to realize. Most of us are ordinary people, but we will do great things occasionally. The idea that we can be anyone, do anything, makes us think that every single moment of our lives should be leaving an impact, a very large, massive impact. It should always be a bang. And the truth is, majority of us are losers. Compared to the Beyoncés of this world, compared to the Newtons of this world, compared to the Einsteins, many of us are quite ordinary and seem like losers beside those kind of people, right? We have a problem with that because our society tells us you're great, you're unique, you're supposed to be doing massively great things. But I'm here to tell you it is fine to be ordinary. It really is. It's fine to be ordinary. We need to be okay being ordinary. I mean, if you're a parent right now, in this century, in this day and time, and you're raising a kid and teenage kid, and the kid doesn't desire to always be in the spotlight, the kid doesn't desire to be famous and all those kind of things, many people will tell you are doing a great job. You're doing a great job, more so than many other people are doing. And it's because, well, many of us would not attain the limelight. Many of us would not get to that break point where we become the star in the sky for people leading the way. Many of us would not be leaders. We would not lead large bodies of people. We would not lead large nations. We will simply have local influences. What Nigerians call a local champion. That's what majority of us are probably going to be. We're probably going to be those intellectuals in our neighborhoods. We're probably going to be that wise uncle in our family. We're probably going to be that generous auntie in our family. We're probably going to be that, worded guy in church. We're probably not going to head a mega church ever. But here's the deal. It's fine. Because we keep forgetting that before Apostle Paul went on his missionary journey, he was an ordinary member of the church that prayed for him and kind of did his ordination. We keep looking at, the massive things. We keep looking at Joshua. Joshua held the sun up, so that they could win the battle. Joshua led the children of Israel to Canaan and they broke down the walls of Jericho with the shout of hallelujah, right? But we keep forgetting it was ordinary spies that came back, and two ordinary ones out of them did not give in to their fear. Two ordinary guys did an occasional great thing that set the stage for a massively great person to do a great thing. Many of us want to be in the limelight, and it's not a bad desire to have, but we've let that desire rule our entire life. We let it rule our ideologies, we let it rule our devotions and everything. But if we simply just calm down, sit down and accept our ordinariness, if we simply just say to ourselves, yeah, I'm quite an ordinary guy, I'm an ordinary girl, I don't have massive great looks, or maybe you do, good for you, but majority of us don't actually look as good as we want to. We don't have a great ability, this great massive skill and everything, but we do have ability. And in that small function of our ability, we do occasionally great things. And I think that's the best way to handle the sense of inadequacy, the sense of, feeling like as if you're lacking something. Because when you keep thinking that you're a great person who should constantly be doing great things, like you can be anyone, you can do anything, you keep realizing you are doing nothing, you are achieving nothing. The little wins that you have are not great enough to be called exceptional. So you fall into depression, and then you keep asking the question, what does your life amount to? But if you simply accept your ordinariness, joy will not be, hitting 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Your joy will be that one person that messaged you and was, wow, this video was awesome. It was exactly what I needed. Your success will not be having 60,000 downloads on your podcast. Your success will be those 3 people who listened before you even promoted. Your joy will be waking up every morning and simply saying thank you to God. Your joy will be seeing your niece, seeing your nephew, happy, making a joke and making a few people laugh, Your joy will be in the simple things of life, and from there you realize how occasionally great you are. And who knows, from there you probably would be much more occasionally great. So maybe it's time to stop carrying the invisible touch of greatness that we don't have, that you and I probably don't have. We accept our ordinary. We accept that we are not wearing coats of many colors. Doesn't mean we are not special, because we are to God. But down here, God loves us being ordinary, and we accept our ordinariness. We are content with how God created us. So like the great Alan Watts said, when you realize that you cannot change yourself and you cannot change the world, you have enough mental energy to do what is possible. You stop trying to do the impossible and you stay in the realm of the possible. And then people will look at you and be like, wow, how much you've improved, right? And you will smile, because they will probably think you're doing something great, but you're just doing ordinary things. You're being ordinary, doing something an ordinary person is supposed to do, and reaping great benefits from it. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope this was helpful. I hope you guys liked today's episode. If you do, please send me a voice message on Anchor if that's the platform you're using, or just leave a like or a rating, or follow me on social media at V030 with Daniel, or on Twitter. That was for Instagram, by the way. On Twitter at Daniel Briggs, and just shoot me a DM. Please share this episode with your friends, share them with family, share them on your Facebook and different things like that. I need the listens, I actually do. But more so, I need you guys to share this goodness with other people. Let other people learn. Let other people, I actually have nothing to say beyond that. But thank you so much for listening, and I will catch you in the next 2 weeks. Bye.